NASCAR is adding an in-season tournament to the 2025 schedule. Oh, and some new names have made it onto my power rankings this week. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Monday morning this week is starting off strong. Big breaking news. Sportico reports that NASCAR will insert a $1 million in-season tournament into next year's schedule. I cannot believe they are actually doing this. Hey, give Denny Hamlin his credit. Let's break this down. Let's understand the format. Before the tournament begins, NASCAR will have to set the matchups. According to NASCAR, all drivers are eligible for the seeding races, and the top 32 drivers from those events, airing on Amazon Prime, will qualify for the in-season tournament that starts with TNT Sports' first race. Seeding will be based on best finish in the 3 Prime Video races, with tiebreakers determined by next best finish followed by season points position. Okay, so after those 3 seeding races, the 32 driver bracket with head-to-head matchups will be set. The tournament will then play out over the next 5 races, all broadcast on TNT and HBO Max. From NASCAR, drivers in the in-season tournament on TNT Sports and Max will compete head-to-head with the higher finishing driver advancing over 5 rounds. The winner of the in-season tournament will get to take home a $1 million prize. Wow, okay, there it is. In a nutshell, NASCAR has their own in-season tournament. For next season, again, this will not be happening this summer, this is 1 year away, but that doesn't make it any less shocking. Brian Herbst, NASCAR Senior Vice President of Media and Production, had this to say, quote, "We want it to be pretty simple, since it's kind of a race within a race. This bracket-style format seemed simple enough, seemed easily explainable, and the other piece that we wanted to do is focus on the drivers in particular to the extent that we can create rivalries or storylines from a head-to-head perspective." I still haven't seen anyone from NASCAR give Denny Hamlin the proper credit. He came up with this idea and ran with it on his podcast, Actions Detrimental, last season. Give him his credit. It's clear that TNT Sports, one of NASCAR's new broadcast partners, is signing off on this because they saw the results of this year's NBA in-season tournament. From what I could find, the brand new NBA in-season tournament increased year-over-year regular season ratings by anywhere from 26% in the early rounds to 89% in the later rounds. That is significant. No wonder TNT, longtime NBA TV partner, wants to bring a similar idea to their new sport, NASCAR. Now, will the NASCAR in-season tournament bump ratings the same way the NBA in-season tournament did? No, probably not, but it'll be hard to measure because for NASCAR, TNT, Max are new partners. NASCAR Cup races haven't been on TNT in like more than a decade. But will this encourage fans to seek out NASCAR races on TNT? Will this encourage casuals who flip on HBO Max to check out a Cup race? Maybe. I can anticipate what some of the comments are going to say. I imagine some fans are going to write this off as another convoluted gimmick meant to attract non-race fans. But I can also see others who've maybe been more willing to embrace changes like playoffs and stage racing saying, hey, sign me up, something new to keep me interested during those dry summer months. I imagine a lot of fans will land on either side of the spectrum. As for me, y'all know me. I watch a lot of stick and ball sports, and I'm usually more open to NASCAR trying new ideas than most. Brian Herbst touched on this, but the number one thing I like most about this idea is that it is easy to understand. Every sports fan in the world knows how a tournament works. One-on-one matchups, the better finisher moves on, the lower finisher gets eliminated, 32 down to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. That's extremely easy to understand. It's very easy to explain. Probably my number one issue with the current playoff format is that it's convoluted. Sure, the basic idea of 16 drivers with 4 getting eliminated every round, that's fairly easy to understand, but then you have to factor in playoff points, points resetting, win and you're in. Oh wait, the championship race is winner take all. That's not how all the other rounds were decided. It's convoluted. It's confusing. I've talked to many newer, more casual fans in my day-to-day life who have a difficult time still following the playoffs. This in-season tournament seems very easy to understand. That's the number one thing I like most about this idea. The second thing I like about this idea is it gives the average fan a reason to stay clued in during those long, sometimes dry, summer months. The 2025 schedule has not been released yet. It could get released later this month. But if we look at the 2024 schedule, those 5 TNT Max races will roughly be Nashville, Pocono, Chicago Street Race. Interesting races, but we're not talking about the Daytona 500 or the Coke 600 or, the playoffs. This tournament gives that Nashville Super Speedway date, perhaps New Hampshire, perhaps the Brickyard 400, even more significance, again, depending on how the 2025 schedule comes to fruition. Overall, I like this idea. I'm glad they're trying it. It should be easy to understand. It adds significance to that middle section of the schedule. It'll make the individual races more interesting. Now you're not just watching the battle for the win, you're watching individual matchups deeper in the field. I love that. I think that's great. I could see some negatives, like especially those first couple rounds where there's 32, 16, tons of matchups. How will TV cover all of that? Will it be easy to follow when you're actually watching the race at home? I'm a little concerned about that. Could be a little chaotic. And 2, I'm worried this could take away somewhat from the race to the playoffs. Once you get into July, maybe even early August, I'm looking at the playoffs. I'm looking at that bubble. Who's close, who's not. This could change the way people race. That could impact who gets into playoff contention. It's just worth noting. Overall, I think the potential pros outweigh the potential cons, but let me know how you feel down in the comment section below. Did not expect this. Shocker. Checking in on social media, Kyle Larson, very excited about this format. Denny Hamlin says this is such a win for our sport. Yeah, I think it could be great. Think of it as like the Cup Series Dash for Cash or a modern day version of the Winston Million. I'm a fan. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Now, before I go, as I do early in the week, every single week, it's time for the Out of the Groove Power Rankings, where I rank the top 10 fastest overall drivers and teams in the NASCAR Cup Series right now. Honorable mention to Ty Gibbs. I wanted to put him in the top 10 this week, but Ford getting their first win. 5 Fords finished in the top 10. I had to show the Blue Oval some love. Ty Gibbs, keep grinding away because I still believe a win is in the cards. At number 10, Ryan Blaney. Honestly, if you just look at the recent finishes, he probably should be out of my top 10, but you have to remember he got wrecked at Texas. He was running top 5 at Darlington when he got put in the wall. Blaney is still top 10 in points. He's the defending series champion, and Ford overall looked a little bit quicker this past weekend, so I'll keep Ryan Blaney inside my top 10 for the time being. At number 9 for the second straight week, I've got Chris Buescher. He led 54 laps and won a stage at Kansas, led 21 laps at Darlington, was in position to get his first dub of the season when Tyler Reddick happened. Brutal back-to-back losses, but RFK Racing has finished first or second in 4 of the last 5 races. Jordan Bianchi on the teardown said that Doug Yates of Roush Yates Engines mentioned that some new things are coming for Ford soon, so perhaps Ford will continue to inch closer to Toyota and Hendrick Motorsports. I like Chris Buescher at 9. Ahead of him this week, though, is his boss and teammate, Brad Keselowski. We've been hard on Ford all year long. I gotta show him some love this week. First win of the season for Brad Keselowski. He has a first and 2 seconds in the last 5 races. He also has 5 top 5s this year, which is tied for the second most in the NASCAR Cup Series. He He also earned 17 stage points yesterday. The 6 has been inconsistent this year, but lately they've been more up than down. I like Brad Keselowski at 8. Call it an overreaction. I don't care. I'm showing Ford some love for a change. How about that? The rest of my power rankings saw only subtle changes this week. I've still got Alex Bowman in the 7 spot. He was pretty quiet at Darlington, but didn't make any mistakes and wound up with another solid top 10 finish. 8 top 10s this year is tied for the most in the NASCAR Cup Series. Still hasn't won a stage, still has only led 6 laps all year, but what did I say last week? You can count on Alex Bowman to run around 6th to 10th every single week. He did that at Darlington. Bowman at 7. At number 6, call me crazy, I'll put Chase Elliott. He finished 12th yesterday, which is honestly fantastic considering he ran outside of the top 20 most of the day. I don't know what happened. Chase Elliott has been so smooth, so consistent, has 5 top 5s the past 7 weeks. I don't know what went wrong at Darlington, but I had to dock him 1 position. At number 5, y'all are going to hate me for this, I've got Tyler Reddick. Call him out for that bold move at the end, that failed slide job. That's totally fair, but again, this list is based on speed. And Tyler Reddick won the pole, won a stage, and was closing in on the leader in the final laps. Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott are basically tied in my opinion. Elliott has been far more consistent aside from Darlington, while Reddick has shown true winning speed more than a couple of times this year. I think these two are pretty even, could go either way any week. Tyler Reddick did not get the finish, but he showed more speed than Elliott at Darlington. That's why I have him at number 5. At number 4, I'll stick with William Byron. Hey, back on track after a couple off weeks, gets a good top 10. He was in the mix all day. I know he squeezed Truex and Blaney a little in that one restart. Might have made a new enemy there with Blaney. Could be all bark, no bite. But overall, a decent day for William Byron. He's tied with his teammate Alex Bowman for the most top 10s in the Cup Series this year. At number 3, I still have Martin Truex Jr. I know he finished 25th, but he was running top 5 when he got squeezed by Byron. And 25th is by far his worst finish of the year. That shows you how consistent Truex has been. And he's still comfortably 2nd in the points despite this not so great weekend. At number 2, I have his teammate Denny Hamlin. Disappointing Darlington race for sure, but he still finished 4th. I say disappointing because he only earned 3 stage points? What? Only led a single lap? Not what we expect from Denny Hamlin at Darlington Raceway, but a good performance overall, and I'm really happy to see this. Denny has been all or nothing all year long. He's either winning or crashing. Here was a race where he didn't have winning speed and just made the most of his day, got a good top 5 result. He kept the train on the tracks and still had himself a good points day. Denny Hamlin at 2, which means once again, Kyle Larson still coming in at number 1. He won the opening stage by like 5 seconds. I think it was between Reddick, Keselowski, and Larson as far as who had the fastest car on Sunday, but Kyle Larson got into the wall late, later cut a tire down, DNF'd. He had the speed though, like I said, won a stage, earned 16 stage points, still the regular season points leader by a comfortable margin. Kyle Larson at 1, no question in my mind. There you go, a little different look inside of our top 10 this week. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my Out of the Groove power rankings. That is going to do it for this episode. Y'all have so much more I want to discuss, but I'm going to save it, I think, for tomorrow. I have a feeling we're in for another busy news week. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of the latest and upcoming NASCAR news, rumors, storylines, and much, much more. And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, folks. Thanks for watching.